Alright guys, so I'm going to identify the difference between the average player and pro players and top level Radiants. The difference between an average player and a pro player or a Radiant is the mindset of which they seek to improve with. So for example, I get a lot of people in the chat or just in general asking me like what's the best way to rank up? The problem with that type of mentality is you don't have any goals. So for example, if I just said I wanted to rank up, that doesn't really that I mean that's a decent goal, right? You want to get radiant or whatever or immortal, right? But why do you want to rank up? What is the purpose behind you wanting to rank up? If you're just doing it because you want to have a shiny new rank, then that's just dumb as fuck, right? But if you're doing it because you want to improve and you want to level up in the game, maybe you want to go to pro, or maybe you just want to compete at like play higher ranks and see what happens, right? You have to want to improve at the game, not want to get a higher rank, right? And so in order to do that, you need to set goals. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't um, seem to do, and that's something I've didn't do for a while until recently, right? Is a lot of people, because they don't set goals, they just kind of like play comp all day and expect to get better. The problem with this is that you're not actually improving on anything pretty much at all. Like maybe you'll improve a little bit, you'll rank up, but like at the end of the day, there's really not much. You're not gonna really improve, and you're gonna end up plateauing. So you need to set up different goals. And in order to set up different goals, you need to identify aspects of which you are weak and aspects which you are strong, right? So for example, I before even playing Valorant, I had trained my aim for thousands of hours, right? And so my raw aim was very, very good, right? Better than most immortals, better than some radiants, whatever, right? Raw aim is good. Now, my weakness in at this current point is my mechanics, right? And so it's very easy back in the day to play comp games just relying on my raw aim, right? Because that's where I'm strong. So I just rely on my raw aim, and that makes me very, very inconsistent. Because if my raw aim is bad, then what the fuck else do I have? I have absolutely fucking nothing. So not only do I need to train my mechanics, train my game sense, train all of these different aspects, right? You have to train your weaknesses that so they can become your strengths. And so a lot of people just end up autopiloting. They just play as many comp games as possible, and people are just not improving. And so this is the difference between a pro player and the average player. Is a pro player highlights all the aspects of the game. Like for example, you have even if I just said did raw aim for example, right? So like aim training, raw aim, right? If you're doing aim trainers, you have to train different tasks, right? You can't just do tile frenzy all day every day, right? You have to train different things. Like you have to train your tracking, right? You have to train your micro adjustments. You have to train your target switching. Maybe whatever, right? You have to split it up into different oops, you can't just train one thing. You have to also like split it up into different subcategories, right? That's just with raw aim. So if you're doing Kovacs, a lot of people are just about spamming tile frenzy, or they're not properly like you guys are not properly working out, right? When you work out, you have your biceps, you have your triceps, you have your chest, your back, right? You can't just skip leg day. You have to do every workout, each individual muscle. And that's the same with raw aim. And that's the same with in Valorant as well, right? Or in Siege or whatever fucking game you play. You have to train every muscle to be a well-rounded player. Now, you guys need to do this yourself, right? In-game mechanics. And we're just going to talk about in-game aim, right? In-game aim includes like your gun skill, right? How you burst fire with the Phantom or a fucking Vandal or whatever gun you're using, right? Or Deagle, or as well as crosshair placement. because you can't really train your crosshair placement in aim trainers. Not really that well, right? You have how you swing or peeking, whether it's counter strafing, or it's jump peeking, or jiggle peeking. You have different types of mechanics and movements that you need to train. These are all things that you should focus individually on, right? So you train gun skill, for example, by doing death matches. You train crosshair placement. You can also train crosshair placement using death matches as well. But like, you get what I mean, right? In peeking, you can also train in death matches, but sometimes it might be good to just like go into a custom lobby, pick a map, and just try to learn how to swing certain angles, learn how to jump peek, learn how to do the crosshair placement as well. There's so many things you guys can be doing, but there's so many other ways to break down the game further. But I'm not. This is not what this video is about. This video is about how to set goals, proper goals, so that you can improve, right? So instead of just saying, "Oh, I want to get radiant," that's not really a goal. That's like if you said, "Oh, I want to be a millionaire." Well, that's not going to really do anything for you. If just saying you want to be a millionaire isn't a goal in itself, because you need to have a direct path to get to that goal, right? You need a path to get to Radiant. You need a plan to get to Radiant. You can't just say I want to get Radiant and then just spam comp all day. So let's look at like an average gold player, right? Their aim is alright. And actually no, their aim is terrible. Like low mid, right? It's very inconsistent. Sometimes they can just kind of go crazy, but most of the time they're crouch spraying, they're missing their shots, they over flick or under flick, they don't have good crosshair placement, and a lot of the times like the enemies catch them by surprise. So they're very, very inconsistent. So their crosshair placement, like their raw aim is trash, their crosshair placement is terrible. Their game sense is just abysmal because they're always getting caught unexpected. Like maybe they're just swinging at the wrong time, or maybe they just don't check their corners properly, or don't understand util usage, right? And let's just keep it to those three for now, because if it's a gold player, we can name a billion fucking problems, right? But let's say, and we can also say like util, like roles, because that makes it easier to distinguish. So proper like util for agents, like if they're playing Sova, like how to use their proper util. So if I was a gold player, here's how I would try to get Radiant. Instead of saying, "Oh, I want to rank up," I would say, "Fuck ranking up," right? Let me focus on, let's say, my crosshair placement, and only focus on my crosshair placement for like a week straight. I don't give a fuck about anything else, right? If my game sense is bad, if my util usage is bad, whatever, fine. Obviously, it's not ideal, but like, I'm not gonna really give a shit if my util usage. I'm only gonna focus on making sure my crosshair is always swinging angles at head level, right? Next week, you're like, okay, my crosshair's gotten a lot better. Maybe I still need to work on it a little bit, but I feel a lot more confident. So maybe I'm not, in terms of my crosshair placement, my rank isn't really a gold player. Maybe it's a diamond player now. So I'm a little bit more confident. I'm still gonna train it, because obviously once you focus on it, you're always kind of training in the back. Like even if you're focusing on your raw aim, you'll still always be learning and getting better at crosshair placement now that you've focused on it, because it's like if right, so maybe you get your crosshair placement good because you trained it for like a week straight, and now you want to focus on something else. Or you're like, oh, my util usage, let's say I play Sova or Sky, my util usage is kind of eh. Next week, I'm gonna focus on just dissecting my agent. I'm gonna pick one agent. If you're trying to improve, master one agent and master their util, right? So let's say I want to be a Sova main. All right, I'm gonna learn all the lineups. I'm gonna learn how to shock dart, learn the default like lineups or whatever the fuck they're. I don't know. I don't play Sova, or I don't really play Sova. So like, learn all the default lineups. Learn when to ult. Learn how to calm with your util, right? Focus on that one particular skill, and then eventually, shit, maybe you feel confident with that skill for like after like a week if you focus on it. And you can move on, and you can slowly check off things, and slowly these things that were maybe once your weaknesses now become your strengths, right? And so then you can focus on your other weaknesses. Like if your weakness is, oh, you're crouch spraying too much, right? Which most players do. oh, okay, so maybe I need to focus on how do I make it so that in gunfights I'm constantly moving or standing up, right? I'm avoiding crouching. So maybe I change the way I move. Take off my fucking crouch key for a week. I don't know. However you feel you want to improve, and that's up to you. You gotta experiment with it, right? It's not a set in stone. There isn't one path to improvement, right? You have to experiment with it and you have to experiment with intent, right? So like if you want to get your aim better, oh, maybe I'll try aim labs, right? Or that you have to experiment with intent. You have to have a purpose for with your experimentation, and if it doesn't work, you adjust, right? So that's what you're supposed to do. So you set a goal. Oh, I want to get my crosshair placement really, really good. Okay, so that's your short term goal. You want to get your crosshair placement a lot better. Instead of just saying, "Oh, I want to rank up. I want to do this." It's fucking stupid. Right? It's so stupid. Who gives a shit about our rank? It doesn't matter. Another reason why playing with the goals in mind also improves the rate of which you improve is not just the fact that you're focusing on a skill, which makes you better at that skill, but if you're focusing on a skill in a comp game, right, you're a lot more like locked in. You're a lot more focused, right? You're a lot less likely to autopilot because you're very much engaged in the match, right? So not only are you learning a skill and improving on that skill, but you're actually taking in a lot of other information. You're actually improving in other ways throughout the course of a match because you're actually focusing, you're actually paying attention and whatnot. So it helps you play with a lot more intent and autopilot a lot less, which will definitely help you improve. Because the problem is a lot of people are just autopiloting, playing comp, hoping that they'll randomly get better and randomly improve. That's just not the case, right? That's just not how it works. If you like this video and this type of format, I'm also still experimenting with different type of formats. But if you like this video and you think it helped you, please leave a like, please subscribe, um, share it with anyone else you think it might could help. But most importantly, come to my Twitch streams. There you can ask me more specific questions, and I'll of course do my best to help you out. I literally have a whole video where I was helping out my Twitch viewers, and yeah, so please pull up, and I'll be happy to help you guys more specific detail on there. Thank you.